Hey guys, it's Michael and welcome back to Boxmining. So right now I'm still in Kiev. It's day 2 of the Hackit Conference and I really wanted to update you guys before the conference of what's really happening with the markets, what's happening on the cryptocurrency news as there's blood on the streets right now, and I really want to just kind of catch up with you guys a little bit as well. So today we're going to discuss what's happening on the stock market and also relate that to crypto because crypto is very much following what's happening on the bloody streets of Nasdaq, of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, because right now there's a lot of FUD going on. So I really want to answer that. And I also want to talk about what's happening today to kind of catch up with a few learnings I learned from the Hacking Conference, because there's a lot of hackers here, and I learned a lot about attacks on systems, and this is something that's really important for the infrastructure in the long run. I do want to say, of course, today there's a lot of wind today, so I really hope my mic is working fine, but I apologize beforehand if there's a little bit of wind noise on my mic. And as always, before we start, this is my personal opinion and not financial advice. All right, so let's start off with the cryptocurrency markets and use what's happening on the stock markets to kind of explain it. So right now we're down to $202 billion market cap. We've seen this sharp spike downwards for most cryptocurrencies. And this is a direct response to what's happening on the markets. So a lot of people are very, very disappointed to see this, because what happened in the equity market in stocks is that there was a sharp sell-off. And this is related to a lot of FUD that's been happening. And you can just see that on, you just search Google on it, and it's like, there's just FUD everywhere. And because we've been in crypto for such a long time, we have this resistance to mass media. We know that mass media is there to cause hysteria, it's there to cause and stir up drama, and it's news for the masses and not for the people who really know what's going on. It's just a reflection. All of these points that are said about what's causing this global market, meltdown, so to speak, is stuff that we known already, whether it be it the trade war reason, the fact that right now there is a trade war between US and China, and there's these heavy reports that luxury goods are being very taxed in China, and that kind of oversight is increasing on which goods are being taxed. So that was reported by LVMH, the big LV brand. We also have another reason, which is the increase in interest rates in the bond market. So the fact is that people can now exit and have higher rates of return in interest and stuff in safer assets, so to speak, less volatile assets. This is all causing this kind of meltdown, and people are really dramatic here. It's like the sharpest fall, 4%. Oh my God, 4% sharpest fall in the markets in the past few years. Now, what's serious up here, and I think what we need to take, is that there's been this buildup of a long bull market in the traditional finances. And it's very important to keep a watchful eye on that, because at the end of the day, you'll realize, and when you're in crypto, you realize that everything is in a bubble. So the fact is that you must be prepared for this. So whether or not you want to be like it or not, every every asset, housing, stocks, bonds, everything is in a bubble. Even currencies can be in bubbles. So it's important to just build up the resistance to it, and realize that this is the case, and not be fooled by this feeling that there's regulation or there's like the SEC that can protect us from bubbles. Nothing can, and only financial prudence can protect you from it. It's just intelligence. So now the cryptocurrency markets have reacted in a very similar fashion. So what we see here is that we saw this discussion going on, that people on Reddit were very disappointed to see that, well, yeah, crypto followed the dip. But it's important to point out that right now, if you look at technical analysis, we actually haven't fallen below the resistance points yet. So there's still a lot of tension building up. The effect right now seems to be that we still haven't felt the full force of it, if it is to come. But I don't think we should be disappointed at all, because at the end of the day, there is a huge speculation aspect to cryptocurrencies right now. There are people in the space that don't really realize the full power of blockchain technology, of Bitcoin, and having a currency that has the best financial protection. It's basically no one can touch it. Not even the feds, not even the government. No one can control Bitcoin and That's pretty amazing. That's something that we've never seen before. And then we see a lot of new smart contract systems being built up. So there's a lot of people who still don't fully understand it. And it's completely natural for these people to freak out when the stock markets are doing bad. Where if their play money, the money that's thrown into crypto might be someone's play money, and they just need to cash out. And in the long term, that's actually really good for crypto. The less speculators we have, the more people who actually hold it, understand it. That's actually a way for much healthier growth in cryptocurrencies. Now, the response here is that, okay, does this mean, what's this correlation? So for me, what we see in the past is that when governments fall, so not stock markets, when governments and currencies and financial collapse happen with the banks, that's when cryptos really shine, because at that time we'll be under risk of quantitative easing, basically the government printing out money and and cause inflation. So right now, in terms of direct response, we don't have it right now. The stock market is very much a less related system. The government's not going to bail that out. They're not going to print money for it. But at the same time, what I want to say is that this is a good time to learn about why crypto is valuable. Wow, there's a lot of traffic outside, so I hope you guys can hear me fine. But what I'm thinking here is that it will be quite a few years before we see financial instability. Right now, anytime there is financial instability, that's when crypto is really going to shine. And this is why I'm in it for the long run. I've come to a point where on my channel, I don't talk about a pending bull run or a minimum change, because for me, it's really a long-term aspect. I'm trying to build up the foundation to understand more about cryptocurrencies. And in many senses, that's why I'm attending these conferences yet again, is to build up the knowledge, because knowledge is the only way for a long-term sustainable kind of marathon rather than a sprint. So going forward, actually, I just want to cover this as well very quickly. This is probably the biggest news on the crypto front, and it's going to be controversial because the guys who are doing this is Blockstream. So Blockstream, if you guys don't know, they're one of the largest benefactors of Bitcoin core developers. So they kind of pay them to just develop and help core. And what they develop right now is something called Liquid, and it's used by exchanges to transfer crypto assets. And it's kind of pegged to Bitcoin, so it's a sidechain of Bitcoin, so it has the same protection as Bitcoin, but it's faster. So you can kind of think of it as a Lightning network, but it's kind of for exchanges and for the creation of assets as well. So that's launched live today. And what I think about this is that I think it's going to be great for exchanges if they can transfer liquidity between exchanges and help the market out overall. So that was the primary kind of goal. They got Bitfinex, BitMEX, Bitsy, and quite a lot of exchanges signed on board onto this. Another aspect of this is also to the distribution of assets. I really think they're a little bit late to the game here if you want to issue tokens on Bitcoin. I feel like although people might think it's a good idea, Ethereum is a much more kind of mature platform for that in a sense, because you can add additional features. This is going to be the most controversial statement I'll be saying, because a lot of people will argue that Bitcoin is a good platform too, but a lot of times we want extra code to be added on. So that's my current take on it. I think it's great for exchanges in terms of distributing coins. Don't really seem to care that much about it. Finally, okay, Hackit. So right now we're on day 2. So yesterday was all about attack day, and I feel that's kind of really interesting. It's one of the best experiences I've had in conferences, because I got to see what hackers use, the tools that they use to attack systems. And there was talks by people from Trend Micro about bug bounty platforms, and they were talking about how these zero-day exploits are just sold on the open market for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Exploits to systems like our computers, our phones, these are all vulnerable, and it's really scary to see that hackers are just selling this on the open market. And it's up to white hats, the guys who are good, to protect us from that, either buying them off these hackers or finding out the exploit and patching it before that happens. So it's this constant work going on. It's interesting to see how we feel like we're in a much secure state than we are. And it's important for us to keep updated about the latest trends. Yesterday as well, we saw some kind of these clippers, hardware clippers that can potentially attack chips by overloading some pins and in using hardware attacks on secure systems. And it's important to remember that this is possible, but the good news is that if you use a Trezor or Ledger wallet, which I've been making guides for, I was really interested to see if there are any vulnerabilities in these systems, if someone can take your Trezor and just withdraw money from it. From now, what I've seen so far is that if you update it to latest firmware, you're fine. And also, there is one vulnerability though. If they have access to a chip, they might be able to scan your public keys, not the private ones, the public ones. So they might know, someone can know your addresses. But for now, it seems like if they have secure hardware, they cannot tap into your private keys. So that's the distinction I want to tell you guys there. Today is Defense Day, and one of the talks that's going to be quite important is about exchange security. I know that a lot of you guys, for me personally, it's really important because I've been a victim of the mt-gox attack, and I really want to find out, what can we do to be safer. I know that my advice has always been to not leave any cryptocurrency on exchanges, but at the same time, I'm sure like all of us, we hold a bit on exchanges for that liquidity, for that convenience of being able to trade whenever we want. So knowing how to protect our, like say, how vulnerable exchanges are, what are the attack vectors, that's quite important. And I hope I'm gonna do a stream. I'm just trying to figure out how to stream that talk today, but I'll see how it works. Just stay tuned on the channel. If it doesn't work, I'm not sure about the internet connection there. If it doesn't work, I'll try to replay it afterwards about these important updates on cryptocurrency exchanges. So on that note as well, guys, I have a few, there's a lot of hackers there, so I wanted to interview a few and see what they think about cryptocurrencies and about what tools and attacks they use. I think this is one of the most interesting things, kind of demystifying what we see as hackers in social media and in movies and real hackers in real life. So I think that's kind of important. So if you guys have questions that has hackers, put them down in the comment section below. I would love to ask them for you. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you guys like this and want to follow me as well, I'm on Instagram and on Twitter. Instagram, I'm doing a lot of updates, just kind of having this closer connection to you guys. So I really hope you guys kind of follow me there. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Remember to click the like and subscribe button. See you guys next time.